Mr. Louis Chua Kheng, a Workers' Party Member of Parliament for Kheng Group Representation constituency, has called on the Ministry of Education to review the direct school admission scheme for secondary schools. He made this suggestion following recent reports that the Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau is investigating a basketball coach for allegedly accepting improper payments to secure spots for students in secondary schools under the DSA scheme. Mr. Chuan noted that beyond this case, a broader question he intends to raise with the Education Minister in Parliament next week.
Now, in the CNA article on 31st July, one coach even told CNA that he had 100% say on picking students under the DSA scheme. Now, beyond this case, I think the broader question I will raise to the Minister for Education in Parliament next week is whether individuals who are involved in the selection process for DSA are required to make a conflict of interest declaration or abstain from the process should there be a conflict of interest or close affiliation with the DSA candidate.
Parliament will commence its session on 6th August. The DSA scheme allows primary 6 students and those taking the O-level exams to apply to certain secondary schools based on their talents in sports, co-curricular activities, and specific academic areas. Last week, Singapore's Chinese media outlet Xinmin Daily News reported that the basketball coach, identified as Mr. Ling, allegedly used his connections to help students gain entry into prestigious secondary schools through the DSA scheme. The coach is accused of charging parents between 30,000 and 50,000 Singapore dollars to secure admission for their children into top schools. According to Xinmin, a tip-off from a member of the public led to the investigation. The tipster claimed to have recorded a phone conversation with Mr. Ling, who allegedly boasted over 10 years of experience in securing student school placements. Specific fees mentioned included 50,000 Singapore dollars for Anglo-Chinese Junior College, 45,000 Singapore dollars for Dunman High School, and approximately 30,000 Singapore dollars for Hwa Chong Institution, which required an in-person interview for admission. According to CNA, the MOE confirmed that the coach has been deregistered since April and is no longer employed at any MOE school. The MOE emphasised that while schools have their own DSA selection processes, they must adhere to the Ministry's guidelines, which include principles of transparency, objectivity, inclusiveness, and student centricity. According to the MOE, schools are required to establish selection panels led by the school's leadership team to evaluate applicants. Non-school staff, such as coaches, may play a supportive role, but do not have the final authority on admissions. Coaches are also required to declare any potential conflicts of interest. The MOE assured that it will continue to ensure the DSA selection process remains fair and accessible to all students. Additionally, the Sports Singapore Statutory Board has suspended Mr. Ling's membership with the National Registry of Coaches. The CPIB has cited confidentiality concerns and is therefore unable to confirm or provide further details regarding the ongoing investigation into the coach. Commenting on Mr. Chua's Facebook post, some netizens emphasised the importance of developing objective criteria for assessing students. They raised concerns that the current scheme could potentially be exploited and suggested that national bodies or Sports Singapore should assess the DSA criteria to prevent corruption. There were also suggestions to abolish the scheme, citing reasons such as the unfairness that arises when wealthy parents can afford expensive coaching, giving their children an undue advantage. Additionally, the comments highlighted that the scheme contradicts the government's assurance that all schools are good.